that threaten the American people. They're fighting the bird flu, which is starting to be control across the country. But fascism is a virus too, okay? Fascism is a virus too, and the people who are in sub-freezing temperatures, they are the antibodies. We are the antibodies. And my friends, a rally a day keeps the fascists away, okay? And we are going to spread these rallies not just all over Washington, D.C., in front of the federal departments and agencies that are being attacked, and not just all over the state capitals where people have been meeting, but all over America. We are going to build up massive herd immunity to the fascists in America. That's what we're going to do.
10 million people in the street.
So,
10 million.
well, I'd like to, let's see, do I get to introduce Glenn or no? Somebody else? You introduce him? All right, then I leave you with my chant. Did you like it? Hey, hey, RFK, hands off the FDA. Hey, hey, RFK, hands off the FDA.
Hey, hey, RFK, hands off the FDA.
All right. Yeah.
When we fight,
We win.
when we fight,
We win. All right. Excellent. Now, next to the stage, Congressman Glenn Ivey, representative of Maryland's 4th District and champion of healthcare everywhere.
All right. How's everybody doing? UAW, are you doing all right? All right. NIH, are you doing all right? All right, we got to keep fighting on this. You know, it's a scary day. It's a scary period. I know it's been something for you all. I'm a cancer survivor. I lost my father to Alzheimer's and Parkinson combined. I lost my mother to heart disease. The things that you all are doing, the research that you're doing is making a difference. We're all counting on you to continue to have a chance to work. And that's why we're here to fight the administration to make sure we can continue allowing you all to do the basic research that we need to save lives, not just here in the United States, but across the world, right? Absolutely, absolutely. And we need to make sure we keep the pressure on every day. I really want to thank you all for coming out here today. When I heard the report of the weather last night, I said, man, it's going to be a low turnout event. But aren't we out here strong today? Yeah, out here strong today. I thought about the Montgomery bus boycott. They marched day after day through the winter, all the way to work and back. You guys are out here carrying on that tradition, and you're going to make a difference just like they did, right? Absolutely. We got to keep going. We need every mini march on Washington day after day to push this forward. We got to fight to take the Congress back. We got to wait 2 years to do it, but we're going to take it back, right? We're going to make Hakeem Jeffries the Speaker of the House in 2 years, right? Yeah, we got to make that difference, and we've got to make sure we keep pushing the Republicans now. I know it's important for us to try and fight to make sure government workers can keep their jobs today, and we're going to keep working on it day after day. But we've got to flip those 3 Republicans in the House to make them do it. Some of them represent government workers just like you, right? Some of them represent people who get sick from diseases you're doing the research on, right? Some of them represent people who are working to make a difference in science and make a difference in the country, right? That's why we know we're going to win. You're doing the right things. You're on the right side of history. You're on the right side of science. On to victory. Keep up the great work. Have a great day.
let's go. Stand up.
Fight back.
Stand up.
Fight back.
Stand up.
Fight back.
Stand up.
Fight back. Next up, we have one of our fearless researchers, postdoctoral researcher at Johns Hopkins University with UAW postdoc researchers organized, Dr. Jaime Eugenio von Berhardi.
Thank you very much. How you doing? There's a lot of cold here, but we are very far up, right? So good afternoon, my fellow researchers, family, friends, future union siblings, and concerned citizens, also congressmen. I'm Dr. Jaime Eugenio von Berhardi. I am a scientist, as many of you are. here proudly representing Johns Hopkins Pro UAW, the future union for postdocs and research associates of Johns Hopkins University. We are all here today in solidarity to support our national scientific research institutions and the many workers who make them run and have been attacked by the Trump administration and its executive orders. We are also here loudly to advocate for a strong federal agency that provides resources nationwide to its investigators whose interests are driven by curiosity, empathy, and duty to ourselves and our neighbors. Profit-driven scientific research is prone to bias and conflicts of interest, as the kind of trial and error inherent in scientific research often gets in the way of high profits and shareholder values. When a child has a rare form of cancer, the incentive to explore a cure or develop treatments lies in the fact that we, as a society, value human life. Most of us already know how difficult it is to do science under our current working conditions. We have low salaries and suboptimal benefits relative to the years of education and work experience we have gathered. All of us do unique work that only a few others can do. We work long hours and sacrifice weekends to advance our research. We even postpone advancing our personal lives, like starting a family or buying a home. And as many of you at Hopkins are immigrants, which is true for postdoctoral fellows across the country, I cannot tell you how difficult it is to do this life-altering work with the constant anxiety and the mental health toll that looms over us while we work, with the fear that losing our jobs also threatens our ability to stay here in the United States. The new administration, by butchering our budget and electing anti-science leadership, is exacerbating all these aforementioned problems. The funding it will only lead to the further detriment of America's ability to make discoveries, develop treatments, and advance technology. I stand in front of you all today not to sow despair, but to urge my fellow researchers to show our collective strength. Such strength is only obtained when we build community, support each other, and organize. As Hopkins Pro UAW, we will join our fellow researchers unions, such as the NIH Fellows Union, UMD Grad Labor Union, Teachers and Researchers United of Hopkins, and all the many unions taking action today across the country as a part of the higher education labor union movement in the fight against the unprecedented cuts that threatens the country's research, our patients, and our livelihoods. Only through a coordinated effort across academia will we move the institutions. So I appreciate everyone for being here today and for the privilege to speak to you all on behalf of my union and academic researchers across the country. Solidarity to you all, today, tomorrow, and forever.
When I say science, you say yeah, science.
Yeah.
Science.
Yeah.
When I say healthcare, you say yeah, healthcare.
Yeah.
Healthcare.
Yeah.
And joining us now, also from Johns Hopkins, from True UE, we have graduate worker Marie Pierce.
Hey y'all, it's amazing to see so many people here today. I'm going to be reading a statement from another worker at Johns Hopkins, another grad worker in our union who wasn't able to make it here today, but our public health department has been really... Oh, can you guys hear me now? Okay, louder. Okay. Closer. It's amazing to see everyone here today. I'm going to be reading a statement on behalf of another worker from Hopkins who couldn't make it. We have had really massive impacts on our public health department as well as everyone who does biomedical research at Hopkins. So, in the flurry and fervor that's happened in the wake of the executive orders that have attacked the NIH's ability to scientifically evaluate and fund research, what I think has been missed is the fundamentally human costs that these cuts present. The vast majority of news articles I've seen both in defense of the current administration and the Doge's attempt to cut costs and maximize efficiency, and many of the responses criticizing those cuts have primarily spoken in purely numeric terms of the dollar amount saved, percentages, and deficits that will be incurred. I think any amount of public support for these cuts and limitations on life-changing and life-saving research, and make no mistake, that is what the NIH funds, is in part our failure as researchers to communicate to the public what federal funding truly allows us to do. So I want to talk to you today not in terms of dollars, but in terms of the human costs that will occur should the NIH's ability to effectively process, evaluate, and fund research is impeded by unnecessary and unjustified restrictions. The NIH's total operating budget makes up less than 1% of the total federal budget every year, but that impact on saving and improving human life is immeasurable. At Hopkins alone, these executive orders threaten to jeopardize roughly 600 current and ongoing clinical trials in cancer, pediatrics, children's health, heart and vascular studies, and the aging brain, among many others. The care, treatments, and medical breakthroughs these trials offer are not overhead or excess spending costs, but offer a hope and scientific progress to families in their greatest need. The consequences of cuts to NIH and public health research have not only direct effects but also indirect effects on the state-run programs, because states must now determine how to make up budget deficits as allocations to state public health programs are also beginning to dry up, which is ironic from an administration that claims to be prioritizing states' rights. In Maryland, these cuts to federal funding have resulted in the state government being forced to consider ending key services for individuals battling addiction that are necessary to staunch the fourth wave of the opioid epidemic. The rapid shift to a ban on DEI measures presents a moral, ethical, and scientific cost to research. These executive orders against wokeness have resulted in clinical care disruptions. Studies that explore pregnancy and maternal health outcomes for pregnant people have been shuttered. Emerging areas of research are being stunted at their nascency as pre- and postdoctoral grants are being canceled. At Hopkins, there are currently 81 doctoral workers whose dissertations are being funded through F-31 grants, 34 of which are F-31Ds. The evaluation criteria and scientific merit for F-31Ds are identical to F-31s. The sole difference between the two is that an F-31D specifically supports training for individuals from underrepresented backgrounds in the biomedical sciences. These 34 doctoral workers and their commitments to the communities they serve as researchers and clinicians are threatened by this administration's cuts, not because their research is not scientifically rigorous or worthy, but solely because this administration believes they are not worthy. Workers who thought they had secured external funding and were planning on defending their dissertations by May 2026 are now being told they must finish by this August or leave their programs. This is not only appalling because these disruptions are placing doctoral workers' dissertations at risk, but also presents a bioethical problem. By stopping funding mid-grant, this administration is forcing researchers to renege on research commitments made to already underserved communities, a serious breach of trust. This threatens to undo decades' worth of work to rebuild trust in vulnerable and marginalized communities that were historically taken advantage of in biomedical research. Violating this tenuous trust has been built by defunding virtually all grants to the National Institute on Minority Health and Health Disparities will set health research back decades. Moreover, this administration is doing so under the guise that we should be studying all populations equally for all problems, which is neither scientifically reasonable nor economically efficient. Not all populations are at the same risk for the same outcomes. Why would or should we allocate resources to studying or trying to prevent the spread of HIV amongst elderly white women when the risk of HIV transmission is virtually zero? Or why would we study pregnancy outcomes in straight men? Or what is the point of studying the efficacy of novel prostate cancer in females? Diversity of background, experiences, and thought only strengthens research because it improves the number of eyes, angles, and perspectives on a problem. It causes us to reconsider issues and pose new and better questions. It pushes the field forward and allows for new answers and solutions to be found. Cuts to scientific research present no real benefits and all but guarantee preventable costs to human life.
Fund, don't freeze! 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 Fund, don't freeze!
All right, all right, all right.
Yeah!
Next up, we have Kaylin Price. She is a neuroscience graduate worker at the newly formed George Washington University, too. George Washington University Grad Workers United.
Yeah!
Part of SEIU Local 500.
Yeah!
What's up, everybody? It is such an honor to be here. My name is Kaylin Price. I am a neuroscience graduate student, graduate worker with GWU2. So where are my GWU2 folks? We just won our election, 99.4% yes. Graduate workers are ready to work not just for science, but for the betterment of all mankind by doing research. We are organized because you have to be organized. You have to out-organize fascism.
Yeah!
Local 500 with amazing support, solidarity with all of the other workers here. And it is important that we understand exactly what is at stake right now. I am a proud HBCU educated scientist from North Carolina A&T State University, where I got my undergraduate degree in biology, and I know exactly what it means to do work that is great work with less than what you should have. My brilliant current advisor put it like this: cutting indirect costs is like telling a football team to do their work with only the players and the coach. No lights for the field, no physical therapist for the players, no water for the showers. Just tell them, get out there and do it. What's the problem? You've got to think about what they're telling you and why they're misleading you. They want you to be angry and misinformed, incensed and ignorant. They want you, Trump and his unelected billionaire backers, want you to look at the people like us making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year, working late nights through the weekends because we believe that much in the work that we do as the enemy. We need 2 and 3 roommates to keep doing the work that we do because we believe it's that important. We are not the enemy. Our colleagues that we are also organizing with, who keep the fume hoods running, who keep the electricity running, are not your enemy. They're your neighbors, they're your friends, and they are helping to make sure that the work that we do is possible. It isn't just enough to have a good idea. You need a building to do it in. You need lights. You need clean water. You need all of the materials that keep a facility running. So saying facility and administration like it's a bad word is ignorant. It is unacceptable that we have to be out here begging for money that is already guaranteed. What they are doing is theft. They are stealing from you, from me, and it's crazy that it's tax season. I'm not even making that much, and I'm watching it go away. They want to fund $18 billion in government contracts to Elon Musk, but they're telling us that the work that we do is bloat and excess. So I want to leave you with a chant. More funding, not less. End research funding theft. More funding, not less. End research funding theft. More funding, not less. End research funding theft. Keep coming out here. Keep telling people what you do and why it's important. Let people know that we cannot survive as a society without the work that scientists, clinicians, and educators do every single day.
All right, all right. All right, and now we have heard from some of our workers here at NIH, down the street at George Washington University, up in Baltimore at Johns Hopkins, and now we will hear from Senator of our great state of Maryland, a champion for higher education and for labor, Senator Chris Van Hollen.
Thank you, great patriots all. Are we going to shut down the illegal Elon Musk takeover of the government? You bet we are. We're going to fight this in the courts. We're going to fight this in the Congress, and there can be no business as usual in the Congress. And we're going to fight this in gatherings like this all over the country, because we need to shut down this illegal operation. I want to thank all of you. All of you are dedicated to protecting the public health. All of you are dedicated to making sure that we do the medical research that saves lives. And there's no sugarcoating this. These cuts will kill more Americans. When you conduct research into cancer, into diabetes, into Alzheimer's, into heart disease, and into all the other diseases that plague American families, you are saving lives. And taking that away will result in more Americans dying early and more American suffering. Are we going to let that happen? No! Hell no! So what is this all about? What is this all about? It is about the great betrayal by Donald Trump. Look, on the campaign trail, what did he say he would do? He said he was going to cut prices. He said he was going to look out for working people. But as soon as he was sworn in, he began that great betrayal. He ended up slashing important services like medical research that help every American family to make way for and pay for what the next step they're going to take is, which is tax cuts for very wealthy Americans at the expense of everybody else. Are we going to let that happen? And who did he bring in to do his dirty work? Elon Musk. Elon Musk. So this is the most corrupt bargain in American history. Elon Musk spent $280 million to elect Donald Trump. And Donald Trump turned around and gave the keys to federal agencies to Elon Musk. And make no mistake, and you know this has nothing to do with greater government efficiency. Nothing. This has everything to do to taking over the reins of government to serve the already powerful and to slash public services that help every American to make more room for tax cuts for Elon Musk. That is what this corrupt bargain is all about. Are we going to shut it down? Yeah! We're going to shut it down because we're going to get the story out there to every American. They, as you said, they want all of us to be quiet. They want us to just suck it up. Are we going to suck it up? No! Hell no. So what this is about is not lowering prices and not helping working people. This is about enacting Project 2025. Now, I don't know about all of you, but I dare say you do remember that when he was on the campaign trail and when he was asked about Project 2025, Donald Trump's like, I don't know. Who are those people? That was the big lie. That was the big lie. And why did he pretend to know nothing about it? Because he knew how unpopular it is to enact those provisions. But that is, in fact, what they're doing. They're not doing what he said he was going to do on the campaign trail. He's enacting Project 2025, which he said he knew nothing about. And in fact, Russ Vought is the guy who co-authored Project 2025, and he is now in the cockpit of the White House when it comes to federal agencies. So are we going to shut down Project 2025? Yeah! Because, you know, if you're about creating more efficiency, you don't fire all the IGs, first of all, do you? I mean, the IGs are there to look out for waste, fraud, and abuse. So firing the IGs actually clears the way for more corruption. So we can shut down everything we can in order to make sure that we shut down the Elon Musk operation. I want to thank all of you who are doing that, because at the end of the day, you are here to save lives. We need to make sure we get it done. Thank you all very, very much for what you do.
We have workers here who represent unions across Maryland and D.C. We've got workers from UAW, Pro Stocks, researchers, organized, UAW Pro, can I hear you? We have researchers from UAW, Graduate Labor United, UAW Glue, UMD. We have researchers from George Washington University, SEIU Local 500. And of course we have researchers here from UAW 2750, NIH Fellows United. All right, worker power, scientist power, researcher power, that's what drives this. And so now we're going to hear from more of those folks. One after the other, you are going to hear story after story of how people, workers just like you and me, have been affected over the last few weeks. So here we are. Our first speaker up here, we've got Jordan Lara.
Hi everyone, my name is Alexander Jordan Lara, and I am speaking here in my personal capacity. I was a member of Dr. Lawrence Tabak's lab, and I want to tell you a story about how last week aged me a year. For those of you who may not know, he was the acting director of the NIH and the longest serving deputy director in NIH's history. 10:30, Tuesday night, I got a surprise email from Dr. Tabak saying that he was to be retiring immediately. It was obvious to me and anyone who has wrinkles in their brain that he was forced into leaving the NIH. If they can force out the top NIH official, what do they plan to do with the rest of us? Don't worry, they answered that really quickly with their assault on probationary workers. In between experiments on Friday, I ran around my institute collecting people's testimonies, contact information, while trying to provide resources, guidance, and reassurance. The most productive and accomplished fellows in my institute were facing the prospect of losing their jobs, careers, and visa status, all because of the whims of some oligarchs. This week, these same workers are expected to continue as if business as usual. How can we expect people to discover cures and treatments when they're occupied discovering if they still have a job? The end of the week left me with some hope. In a lab full of scientists concerned about their co-workers' livelihood, science, and the country at large, it was clear to me that we're all in this together, just as we are today. When they come for one of us, they come for all of us. And we are here to say enough is enough. Because when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Milo Taylor, and I'm a member of UAW 2750, also known as NIH Fellows United. And frankly, I don't want to be here. I want to be in my lab focusing on my research. But I can't. I want to be building community with queer scientists that I have been proud to lead, but I can't. This is because on January 21st, the current administration instituted a ban on DEIA positions and programs in the federal government. Overnight, my group's website was taken down and colleagues I'd worked beside for years were out of a job. 2 years of our blood, sweat, and tears, building networks, fostering community, and many more of history before us, reduced to broken links and uncertainty. In the wake of such a clear attack on my queer colleagues, how can any of us go about our day-to-day work? Through community, we have found a way. Despite bans on presenting our research, halts on funding, and direct attacks on our identities, we have passed candidacy exams, been accepted to graduate school, all while raising our voices to protect our fellow scientists. While some may think the administration's actions are a bold display of strength, I think they are a clear admission of fear. This administration knows the power we have when we stand together, and that's why they're trying to undermine us. You can eliminate DEIA. You can stall our research, but we are not going anywhere. We will work together to protect every single one of us. Fellow organizers, do not give them the satisfaction of succumbing to the overwhelm. Keep raising your voices. Keep excelling at what you do and remind them why they should fear our power.
my name is Connor Phillips, and I'm with NIH Fellows United. As you've heard from others today, the NIH is what makes the U.S. the world leader in biomedical research. The best scientists come here because we can solve the world's most challenging problems in health. You may not be able to tell by looking at me, but I have cerebral palsy. I am this healthy because of therapies developed in the U.S. that helped rewire my brain after a stroke, allowing me to live my fullest life. My experience inspired me to become a scientist at the NIH, where I have developed new therapies to improve the lives of other children with cerebral palsy and help develop a new understanding of how the brain functions. Now, as a result of these cuts from the Trump administration, I am prevented from continuing this research, even as an unpaid volunteer. When I hear people say these cuts are making our government more efficient, I am at a loss. How can that be true when I'm prevented from working for free? As someone who hopes to be a great scientist one day, I'm questioning whether that will be still possible in the United States. If this story speaks to you, call your senators and tell them to fund our science.
My name is Rakshita Balaji, and I'm a research fellow at the National Institutes of Health, and also a proud member of NIH Fellows United, UAW 2750. My work centers around understanding the science behind chronic pain, which afflicts about 1/4 of adults in America, with conditions ranging from migraine to arthritis to fibromyalgia. My colleagues and peers at the NIH are some of the most talented and passionate people I know and have had the absolute privilege of training alongside. And it has been absolutely shattering to watch my community, the people I care about, suffer from this undeserved stress, confusion, and frustration brought about by executive actions that have squandered our scientific progress and uprooted our livelihoods in just 1 month since the presidential inauguration. From gutting research funding, to tearing professionals from their posts, to policing speech around equity and inclusion, this administration has punished dedicated employees from our life-saving work, causing harm that will extend into the lives of every American who seeks a better quality of life from our medical breakthroughs. As scientists, researchers, and clinicians, it is imperative that we may be able to continue our work free of this pervasive threat posed by condemnable directives that are antithetical to the missions of public health, knowledge, and justice in the United States.
Hi all, I'm Dr. Amanda Shaver. I'm an NIH NRSA supported postdoctoral fellow at Johns Hopkins University. I've been working in the fields of biology and genetics since 2006,